What the world needs now, more hookers. The reason you are watching this video is to learn how to powerfully connect. Did you know hookers are everywhere? Don't believe me? Let me show you. Picture in your mind your neighbors that live to the left of you. Now picture your neighbors that live to the right of you. There's a very strong chance that one of your neighbors is a hooker. In most neighborhoods, there are at least 5 great hookers. Shocking, right? But wait, there's more. Did you know there is a whole town of hookers? It is a small town of 1,900 people in the panhandle of Oklahoma. It's where the best hookers I know of are from. I've always said the best gift my grandfather ever gave me was a hooker, and that hooker just happens to be from Hooker, Oklahoma. It is my Aunt Mary Ann. She's the best hooker I've ever met. She came into my life in the last years of my grandfather's life and changed my family forever. You see, my grandfather remembers being left at an orphanage along with his sister during the Great Depression. It was because his family couldn't afford to feed all of their kids. They decided to give up 2 of them. His sister was adopted soon after they arrived, but he remained there for a lot longer. He was finally adopted by the Neiman family. Years later, he would try to find his birth family, but always seemed to find a dead end. I think it always bothered him, knowing they were out there somewhere, but had given him up. For most of my life, my grandfather seemed cold, detached, and angry. I didn't understand it then, but seeing his eyes in this picture as a child gave me insight into what made him who he was. All of that changed when Mary Ann came into his life. She had been adopted at 8 days old by a wonderful family in Hooker. She had waited till after her adopted parents had died to pursue finding her birth parents. She was so happy to find her birth father and to learn that she had 2 brothers. My grandfather was so happy to give her what he could never find, answers, and to be reunited with family. Grandpa learned how to use a computer in his 80s so that he could email her every morning and every evening. The last years of his life, he became a more loving, lighter, and kinder man. Mary Ann became one of our family and enjoyed spending time with her brothers and their kids. She brought so much joy to us and a new appreciation for family. When we got the news that her son had died, our immediate response was to jump on a plane and drive to Hooker to support them. I will never get over the way the entire town of Hooker came together to support my family around the funeral. There was an unending arrival of their friends and neighbors who would come and just hug them and cry with them. This was their second son to bury, and I overheard several people say to them, "We have an extra son you can have." People brought so much food. Their refrigerator was overflowing. I remember one lady bringing over a fresh out of the oven coconut cream pie. The most powerful thing to me, though, was the day after the funeral was the first day of harvest. My uncle was a farmer, and the other farmers harvested their land first because they were hurting. It made me realize how powerful it was to be that connected. I had never experienced this before. My next door neighbor had died of a heart attack, and I didn't even know for 6 months. But I wouldn't have known what to do even if I had known at that time. At first, I thought that what made these hookers so powerful was their location, their town. Boy, was I wrong. After studying the Oklahoma hookers, I discovered that they uncovered and hold true to the original definition of the word hooker. So there are 5 definitions for hooker. So slang for prostitute, most know about. Slang for a large drink of liquor. Slang for a concealed problem. In rugby, it's a player who hooks the ball in the front line of scrimmage. But the 5th definition, the original definition of a hooker, is one who hooks together. Or said more powerfully, one who connects. When I use the word hooker, I am referring to a powerful connector. A connector who makes the journey of life even more meaningful and enables others to produce results and reach even higher mountaintops. It's a connector that makes even the darkest times of our lives brighter. A connector that creates connection that is unbelievably powerful with the ability to make a significant impact, even save a life. And just to make sure you are tracking, I am not talking about this kind of a hooker. The world needs more hookers, more connectors. But why, you might ask? It is because we live in a garage society where we pull in and out of garages and into the comfort of our homes. We virtually connect online, but we miss out on the personal touch and the powerfulness of a live human connection. Upon the completion of this video, you will know how to be an even better hooker. You will have the 4 foundations to powerful connection and 3 tips to being an even better hooker. You will feel inspired and motivated to make even stronger connection with others. The world needs more hookers. You are probably asking yourself, how can I be a great hooker? How can I make even stronger connections with others? Those are excellent questions. You need the 4 foundations to powerful connection. They're the foundations that hookers know for themselves to be true and are able to help others experience as well. Foundation number 1, you are loved. You have probably heard the phrase, all you need is love. Love is an extremely powerful emotion, but something which cannot easily be put into words because it comes straight from the heart and can only be experienced. It is expressed in that I care for you and I want only the best for you. I want you to win in life and be fulfilled. There is always hope because together we can get through anything. Foundation number 2. You are safe. When you're with me, you are in this safe zone. No matter what is going on in your life, you can feel safe with me. It's going to be okay. You have my support. You can be real, authentic, and vulnerable. You are safe to express yourself, whether it's your fears or dreams, failures or wins. Foundation number 3, you belong. I accept you just as you are. You don't have to do this on your own. You've already won with me. I want you in my life. Foundation number 4, you matter. You are unique. There are things that only you can offer. Your life always impacts others. The question is, what kind of impact are you making? Is it positive or negative? True connection allows for help to come from where you never would have expected it. Take my friend the dolphin here. He never would have expected that something that comes natural to him, like swimming, would make the life-saving difference it did for that dog. You have lots to offer, and there are people who need what you have to give. And now for the 3 tips. Tip number 1, leave people better than when you found them. First, you have to get clear. What do you have to offer? Your smile. Never underestimate the power of a smile. We all have time, energy, and attention to give. I recently visited a friend in the hospital. I talked about my life and we watched a silly show from the 80s. I didn't think much of it, but she thanked me at the end and told her it meant so much to her that she got to feel human again. In addition to your time, ask yourself, what are you good at or trained in? I spent over 10 years in human resources, and I'm really good at helping people improve their resumes. I'm also good at helping people prepare for interviews. It's as simple as, when you see a need, like this dog here did, to step up. Don't you just love how the dog is now giving back? We all experience a wide range of emotions. Tip number 2 is to meet people where they are. From joy to sadness to anger to disgust to fear. Emotions, when used correctly, help us experience all that life has to offer. This is joy. This is the emotion I most relate to, where I spend most of my time. On the opposite side of the spectrum is sadness, an emotion I used to think was worthless. I used to avoid dealing with others when they were sad. The Oklahoma hookers taught me the power of connection, and that when someone is sad is when there is the greatest opportunity for connection. We remember and are deeply impacted by those who are there for us when we are down. The world population is 7.7 billion people. So tip number 3 is to focus on one life at a time. You may already be familiar with the starfish story. So one day, an old man was walking along a beach that was littered with thousands of starfish that had been washed ashore by the tide. As he walked, he came upon a young boy who was eagerly throwing the starfish back into the ocean, one by one. Puzzled, the man looked at the boy and asked what he was doing. Without looking up from his task, the boy simply replied, "I'm saving these starfish, sir." The old man chuckled aloud. "Son, there are thousands of starfish and only one of you. What difference can you make?" The boy picked up a starfish, gently tossed it back into the water, and turning to the man, he said, "I made a difference to that one." You will get overwhelmed trying to save everyone. Instead, just take one life at a time, knowing that it matters to that one. You may have heard the story of the man who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. When they went to his apartment, they found a note he left saying, "If just one person smiles at me, I will not jump off that bridge." You could save a life. How? With just your smile. So I invite you to take action. Think of one person that you know who is going through a tough time, or someone who needs something that you have something to offer. Write down the name of this individual, and I want you to commit to reaching out to them within the next 24 hours. Now I want you to say out loud, "I'll do it," to show your commitment to reaching out to this person. Ready? I'll do it! Great job. The world needs more hookers. The world needs more connectors. The world needs you.